Okay. Okay, Teacher Fatimah, thank you for your time. I will start with the first question. Okay, where does the idea of your lesson plans come from?
Most of the time, the ideas for my lesson plan would usually comes from referring to the KSSM document material, such as the DSKP, document standard for the KSSM syllabus. I also refer to workbooks, and also sometimes I use materials that I collected from websites.
Okay, how do you make your lesson plans attractive and interesting but at the same time effective?
For me, to make my lesson plan attractive yet effective, sometimes I use the combination of games. I love using the inner circle, outer circle games because it helps my students to practice their speaking. And usually after some games, I also give them enrichment activities so that I can check their understanding of the lesson.
Okay, based on your lesson plan, how do reading comprehension questions improve students' proficiency in English language?
I think reading comprehension questions help students to develop their understanding of the text that they read. It helps them to understand the gist of the text, and also sometimes it helps them focus on details that they need to remember from the text.
Based on the HOTS question in your lesson plan, do you think the question matches the student's level?
I think the question that I prepare do match the student's level. However, sometimes I also prepare questions that are higher than my student's level, just to see that whether maybe some of them can understand the higher levels of thinking skills.
Okay, moving on to the next question. Why do you think this lesson cannot be conducted in a group?
I think the lesson cannot be conducted in a group because I prepare the lesson as an online PDPR lesson. So it would be difficult for me it would be difficult for my students to work in groups. So that is why the lesson I prepared is for individual assessment.
Okay, next. How do you evaluate the effectiveness of your class activity related to the student's final understanding after a lesson?
Okay. To evaluate the effectiveness of the class activity, it actually depend on the activities of the lesson. Sometimes I prepare quiz just to check their understanding, and sometimes I just ask straightforward question to random students, asking them to share what they have learned during the lesson.